Before we kick it off, Zach, this episode is brought to you by the brand new EP from Melbourne MC Clue, as seen on TV. Zach, he was meant to be on today's episode.
Yes.
But then he wasn't.
Yes.
And we were like, oh, we'll give you a plug. Here's a small clip from the lead single.
I got the juice, I got the juice, I got the fire when up in the booth.
Yes. And if you aren't sold on that, honestly, I'd...
Go check it out anyway.
Go check it out anyway.
Jerk.
Here's the episode. Zach, if a skydiver falls to his death in a forest, does anyone really hear him fall?
The skydiver?
Yeah, that's a good point. Hey, yeah, I didn't think that intro through.
No, you didn't at all.
Because it's like, if a tree falls in the forest, does anyone hear it?
The tree can't hear.
The trees can't hear. But the skydiver
can hear himself falling to his death.
Welcome to Oldie but a Goodie. This is the podcast every week. We're like, hey, what came out in 1994? We pick one of the films, we watch it. It's the start of December. This film came out, start of December in 94. My name's Sandro. That is Zach.
Hi.
We got 4 episodes left and we thought, hey, let's bring back a guest who was on one of our favourite episodes.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump. Please welcome Tom Hanks.
Hey! Hello, Tom Hanks. How you doing?
Hello. Good to be here.
It is Jacob. Jacob's back again. Not just for one episode, but for 2.
2.
You're sticking around.
100%. I said if I'm going to watch a movie as bad as this, sorry, spoilers, I want to watch a good one as well.
Uh-huh.
Yep. This week...
Unfortunately.
This week we've been burnt again by another bad action film.
Yep.
It is Drop Zone. And the question is, Zach, did you enjoy this as much as you've enjoyed other bad action films?
I believe I sent you some texts as I started watching this film. I don't know if you got them.
I don't have them in front of me, but there was something along the lines of, oh my god, this is... What? What is this?
I believe I said, oh, wow, this movie starts off strong.
It does.
And then I said, wow, and it gets even stronger.
It really does.
And then followed by this movie sucks. Were my strong opinions.
Yeah.
But they changed throughout this movie.
It did.
Actually.
It kind of... I was waking up as I was watching this. So for the first half hour, I was still in like, oh, you know, I'm half asleep. I'm watching this because I have to. And then when it started to get better, I started to wake up a bit more. And then by the end, I was out of it. So that was my first impressions. How about you, Jacob?
I'll call it, this is the worst movie I've ever finished. I've seen worse movies, but I just stopped watching them. But for you guys, I had to push through.
You had to finish this. I am so sorry.
It was so bad.
I'm not gonna lie. I watched this in 1.25 speed. I sped this up.
I think halfway through I did, definitely.
Yeah.
But I will say, I think this movie got better.
Yeah, I agree, actually.
Went along. Like, it started off really bad and then got to, like, the cheesy sort of bad action film by the end.
I do agree,
The one I like.
Yeah.
Because I like the cheesy bad, not the just awful bad.
Yeah, definitely. Well, before we jump into the movie, though, Zach, we have been running a bunch of polls, bunch of audience surveys, seeing what you want to hear next year on the podcast. We definitely have two final years. The options were 1974, 1984, 1995, 1998, and not 1993.
And I believe 1993. You saw 1993 on that. Yep, Jacob?
I didn't think so. I did the one on the internet. Like
Yeah, they're
that was
all on the internet. We're not going around our listeners' houses.
No, we actually put out flyers and got people to sign them. You didn't get your flyer, Jacob?
No, I did one on the internet.
You didn't get one of our people walk up to your house, knock on your door and say, hey, have you heard of Oldie but a Goodie? They're looking to see what year they're going to do next year. Your choices are 1993, 1993, 1993...
And not 1993.
And not 1993. Those were the 4 or 5
We
options.
can add that as an option next year, I think.
But
we definitely have 2 finalists at the moment for the years. And if you want to go over to both our Facebook page, you can vote properly there starting today until Thursday of the week of release. And then also the Survey Monkey will be running for the next 3 weeks. So you can still check that out. Link in description to help us figure out what are we doing next year.
What did you vote for then?
I voted for 1995.
1995.
Keep
okay,
it simple. I like this season.
I wanted 1993.
Yeah,
but,
it wasn't an option.
Apparently, that's not an option in Sandro's books.
Well, because we were talking about 93, but editing Trapped in Paradise, I realised that we never mentioned it in the episode that we wanted to do 93.
Oh, really?
We never mentioned it on air. So I was like, whoops, guess I can't put it in the survey.
Wow.
So now we have, and I could add it to the survey. Maybe.
I think I voted for 1984. I think was the one.
Okay.
I just picked one. They all looked pretty good.
They are
I
good.
mean, if you're sifting through an entire year for good movies, you're gonna find at least one, maybe, I hope.
Yeah, hopefully.
So I was pretty fine with any of the options.
Yeah.
I left it to our audience to decide.
Same, yes. Drop Zone. The other two options this week were, oh, that's right, Disclosure, erotic thriller with Michael Douglas and Demi Moore. And there was also Nell. Jodie Foster lives in an isolated cabin. Liam Neeson is like, hey, this is the world. Come outside of your cabin and see the world. Nell sounded good, but I looked it up during the week, and it's got very mediocre reviews. So,
Unfortunate.
yeah, anyway.
Glad we didn't do that.
Sure, I guess. It's probably better than Drop Zone, though.
That's not saying very much, though, Sandro.
That is not. So it was released as December 9th. It's written by John Bishop and Peter Barsaccini. John was doing a lot of rewriting in '94. He touched up the scripts for Clear and Present Danger, which we did an episode on, and also Beverly Hills Cop 3, which was an episode that we skipped over. Peter, on the other hand, he wrote all three films of a franchise we've been talking about a lot recently, Zach. A particular teenage-focused franchise with basketballs and songs.
The Terminator.
Perhaps they might all be
that
in
was
it
last week.
together.
What was the episode on last week?
High School Music.
Zach, you gotta get your head in the game.
Oh!
No! Boo! Boo! I'm glad we got you on for the high level of comedy that you're adding to this one, Jacob.
I speak for the audience at home.
But yeah, Peter wrote all three High School Musical films by himself.
Really?
And he also wrote Drop Zone.
Okay.
Nice.
I feel like one of those franchises did a little better.
Perhaps.
And was better.
Was this ever meant to be a success, though? That's what we will ask
that's true.
ourselves.
Did he intend this one to do well?
It feels like a cry for help.
Did he intend this one to be actually awful?
Most likely.
Possible.
Most likely. Though it is directed by John Badham, which is funny because the movie is bad.
Wow.
He had
No ham, though.
No. Well, the film's kind of hammy.
It definitely hams it in.
He had a breakout hit in the 70s, which you've probably never heard of, called Saturday Night Fever. In the 80s, he also did huge films like War Games and Blue Thunder, and a childhood favourite of mine, I watched it a lot when I was young, Short Circuit.
Oh.
Don't know if you've seen that.
There you go.
Very nice robot movie. In the mid-2000s, he's kind of focusing more on TV. He's worked on Supernatural, Arrow, Heroes, and most recently Sirens, which is an anthology series about mermaids. But like evil mermaids.
Whoa!
So, who knows?
They don't get enough. I always say
Yeah,
that.
you're right,
Yeah.
you're right. We need more evil mermaid representation in
Exactly.
media. The Little Mermaids just ruined everyone. They go, oh yes, I want to go to the ocean and see the mermaid. No, they're sirens. They will sing their song and kill you.
Exactly.
That little child would be murdered thanks to Disney's propaganda.
Exactly.
Oh, ridiculous. Another thing ruined by Disney. What are they doing?
Another one.
For the cast, we've got Wesley Snipes as Pete Nassip. Or Nessip, but I like Nassip because it's funny. He's Blade, of course.
Yes.
He plays Blade. Most recently, though, he got out of prison in 2013. He was there for 2 years due to tax evasion stuff.
Okay.
And since then,
Didn't know that one.
he's done The Expendables.
Oh yeah.
And heaps of like direct-to-DVD garbage action stuff. But this year he was in Dolomite Is My Name on Netflix, where he plays a very over-the-top performance, and he's really good in that film.
Oh, so he is Dolomite?
He's the director of the first Dolomite movie, who famously hated everything
nice.
about that. He was a famous actor. We've also got Gary Busey as Ty Moncrief, the villain of the film. I guess he's probably better known for Lethal Weapon. That's sort of...
Yeah.
Like, he's in the first one of that.
The only movie you've mentioned today
Mm-hmm.
across all these filmographies that I've seen is High School Musical.
We're all in this together.
Oh, he was in Sharknado last year. Anyway.
Hey, Sharknado! Now we're talking high quality movies.
The only other notable actor is Yancey Butler as Jessie Crossman. She had her own TV show in the early 2000s called Witchblade. That got cancelled, and then she just started doing like mockbusters, and that's all she's done since then.
Wow.
And don't forget Michael Jetta as well. He's got no excuse for his performance.
No.
Because
I thought he was okay.
God,
It's
darling.
funny. It's got 41% on Rotten Tomatoes, B+ on CinemaScore, audience rating of 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb. So pretty low all around.
Yeah, no, that's not great.
No.
It's not the worst it could have done, though. Honestly, I thought it would be a little bit lower.
Considering last week was 10%.
Yeah,
Like-
no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I liked last week's.
Yeah.
Whereas this one I didn't.
But it's slightly more well received. Maybe
Yeah.
it's because the last week's has aged better and this one's just aged badly.
Yeah, that's
Maybe.
true.
That could be
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Because Nicolas Cage films are like fine wine.
Yeah, fine. After a certain point, they turn to vinegar.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I love me some vinegar.
Yeah. Just watching a Nicolas Cage movie is like drinking pure vinegar.
Yeah. Exactly.
for Nicolas Cage and for
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, correct. For
oh.
everyone involved.
So this film cost them $45 million to make, which is kind of low because there's a lot of like actual
That does seem a
skydiving
little
in
low.
this. There's quite a bit of green screen for it, but there are some actual skydiving in there, so that's pretty good. Guess they skimped out on the cast maybe. But what do you think it made? What do you think it made?
It's an action movie. Movies were doing well here, right? I remember.
Last 2 weeks of last week, but
well,
the
not
2
last
weeks
week.
after that
No,
were doing
but
really
the
well.
2. I'm gonna say 8 mil.
That okay?
80
Oh,
mil.
80 mil. So 80 from Zach. What do you think,
I don't
Jacob?
know why I said 8.
I accidentally saw on the Wikipedia page earlier.
Okay.
Oh, so both the guests now have accidentally seen the exact amount of money it's made. Wow, how convenient for
I had to
you.
brush up on the plot because it was so difficult to
Oh,
follow.
right.
But no, it made, drum roll please, 28.7 million. Lost about
Wow.
15-ish.
50. Wait,
Little
so how
over
much did
15.
it cost?
It was 45 million, made 28.7.
Yikes.
Definitely
Yikes.
hasn't
Well,
recouped
yeah,
that.
no,
on
that
DVD
is
sales.
bombed.
Yeah, big old bomb.
Yeah.
Which suits it because it's about falling out of the sky.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So the movie is about like what if an action movie but skydiving.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And by the end, it was that. At the start, not so much.
No.
Not as much.
Oh, also Hans Zimmer did the music for this film. Just want to say that. You're not going to see any of these songs going on his next concert tour, are you?
Got him.
Absolutely destroyed.
Alright, let's get into Drop Zone.
And Zimmer would not be a guest on Oldie for the Goodie.
Yeah. In my notes I wrote the font, but I can't remember what the font was.
So I took notes on this one. This was one of the few things. This is what started me doing notes. So for Drop Zone, the font is like, it's very thin, sort of action movie font. It's not fancy. It's like a thin, sort of the classic sort of action film sort of font. And I was like, oh, this is a good font because it's like the usual white letters sort of thing. But they look like they're slightly stretched, a bit square. Did you take note of the font at all, Jacob, in any way, shape, or form?
I did not.
Excellent.
And I'm going to say it. I never have.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Should we put that in our survey? Should we stop talking about the font?
No.
No.
Well, we are dedicated to the font talk. And just to piss you off, David, I'm going to talk about it a little more. That's it. That's all I had to say about it.
Yeah.
It was tall. It was like the classic 90s action movie font. I was in it at this point. And then the next scene took me out.
Yes.
So it was
good.
good.
I quite like the opening music as well. It's kind of rocky.
Oh, yeah.
You see Gary Busey in prison just wearing casual clothes. Everyone in the prison is just wearing like whatever they want.
Yeah, well, it's a casual sort of prison. They're not too hard on uniform and stuff, you know.
Sure.
I mean, the guy is literally taking care of cats at the moment, so like it's pretty lax
there's Mustache Man. I forget what his character's name was.
Hacker Mustache Man.
Hacker Mustache Man.
Earl Leedy.
Ew.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, look, I'll just say this here, because I'm going to have to say it at some point.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Too many mustaches to keep track of in this film.
Not enough mustaches.
I was
to
like,
go.
oh, that's the guy with the mustache. Cool. And then there's like 4 mustaches.
Yeah, but they're very distinct, different characters with the
Yeah.
mustache. You got the skydiver with the mustache. You got the nervous hacker man with the mustache. You got that one other guy with the mustache. You know, they're very distinct mustaches. I know.
No, I definitely confused Gary Busey and the other evil bad guy with a sort of beard. I thought they were the same person for a while.
Yes.
And then they, spoilers, killed one off, and I went, oh, that's probably not Gary Busey then.
Yeah. He gets attacked in prison while he's like trying to feed some random cats that don't come back at all for the rest of the film for no reason. But then a person tries to attack him with a shank. And there's also, while it's happening, there's like a metaphor of an eagle with a mouse happening at the same time for no reason. And it just cuts back and forth between this eagle hunting a rat or a mouse or something.
Yeah.
That's also there at the prison or not.
Like, it's also happening. You don't need a metaphor of like an eagle and a mouse if there's a metaphor of a guy being stabbed. Like,
I don't know what it was. It was really poorly done.
Yeah.
I don't know what was happening there. And then it just moves on to the next scene like nothing had happened.
Yeah, like the intro isn't... You don't know that these are characters you're meant to care about. You don't know that this is the actual intro of the film until 5 minutes into the film, where you're like, oh, that's why they showed that, is because Wesley Snipes and his friend are coming to pick them up. And it's like, well then, yeah, and nothing really happens until Wesley Snipes is in the car with his friend. They're both there to escort Earl from the prison.
Because they have the two guys in the car. They're talking about relationships for some reason.
Oh, yeah, because they are brothers, aren't they?
Yes, the whole idea is they're supposed to care for his brother who dies soon.
Yep.
But they talk for a bit, then it jumps to the prison where they're like, you have to escort this hacker man. He's a hacker man, he's good at hacking.
Yeah, everyone wants to kill you and we want to keep you alive for your testimony, so we're flying you to another state.
And then they're like, do we have to take the cats with us? Immediate jump cut to cats getting loaded into the plane. It didn't even wait for the joke to settle in before shooting you with the punchline.
That is so true. Yeah, no, you're right.
And then we cut to Hacker Man complaining, oh, are the cats going to be okay? Oh, are the cats going to be okay? If the cats get killed, I'm going to sue you.
Yep. And then they're like, well, even who cares? The plane is taking off now. And that's all we see of the cats. Never see them again.
Oh, yeah, the plane, like...
Oh, it crashes. All those cats are dead.
Yes, all those cats are dead. Like, he cares about these cats, but then just abandons them at this point, and it's never, like, touched on again that these cats got completely murdered.
I don't think he abandoned them. He was kidnapped.
No, he wasn't. He planned this out, because this was the whole point.
I don't think he knew that this was how it was going to go, though.
Oh, did he? No.
Because he's like, oh, I don't want to skydive. What are you doing? I don't like any of this.
I think they stole him. They kidnapped him.
Did they?
But they are friends. Because they're
Yeah,
quite
no.
friendly.
They're, like, busting him out. Yeah, but, like... They could just be busting him out and he didn't know about the plan.
So we'll fill in the audience.
Yes.
But it's kind of like a budget Dark Knight Rises where they steal a plane with another plane.
Yep.
They just do that, they jump into the plane.
Yeah, Gary Busey's team jumps in. Oh, yes, they shoot Wesley Snipes' brother. Yes. And we see him falling out of the plane by like a series of close-ups on his hand and the bad guy's hand, going back and forth, and then he falls back, and it's just him in slow motion falling against a green screen, and it's so terrible.
Oh no!
And the bad guys get away. We cut to the FBI being like, we don't believe that the bad guys had parachutes and they escaped from the plane, because that's not something that you do, and I probably think your brother started the It's just like, what is this? They think
Oh,
that,
right, yeah,
they
no.
think-
Oh, it's so dumb.
That's a plot point that's never, like, revisited, that they think that, like, the brother is set up, or what, like,
Yeah.
it's not even set up. The FBI guys just don't believe that people would skydive out of a plane.
Yes, and also that he shot at a dude and witnesses claims the dude had TNT strapped around him, which he didn't.
Also, you're fired.
Also, you're fired.
It's like one of those things where they want him to hand in his gun and his badge.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
just make up something.
They
Yeah,
find a
no,
way.
it's very forced.
Oh,
The whole start is super forced.
Yeah, the whole film in general, I'm just like, none of this.
Yeah. I again will stand by the fact that it gets better.
Sure.
Like, they want to skip past all this. This is the kind of setup lore that they have to do, but they didn't want to do. To get you to the second half of the film, which is the bit they wanted to do with the skydiving and everything. And you can really tell in the whole first half of this film because it sucks. It is awful.
I also like when everyone's getting onto the plane, so they need to set up the exposition that people are getting onto the plane.
Oh, yeah.
So the way that they do that is just by making everyone just like tragically excited to
Yes.
fly.
Whoa, I'm so excited. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
It's
It's just, no, it's not.
great.
It's not good. It's not good. Well, Wesley Snipes starts doing research on skydiving, and if you can skydive from a 747 or whatever the plane was. And Jesse Crossman is there, and he realizes, oh no, she was in a relationship with a bearded Gary Busey. He's not Gary Busey, but I'm just going to call him bearded Gary Busey. Don't worry, he's not important. He dies in like 5 minutes.
Yes.
And that whole story arc is like, it doesn't matter.
Yes. They find evidence of him, and then the bad guy kills him.
I don't know. All throughout this movie, the bad guys are running drills because their whole thing is Gary Busey used to be a DEA agent.
Here's the bad guy's plan. They join a competition for skydiving to get into a once-in-a-lifetime skydiving event.
Yep.
Where at night when there's fireworks going off, they get to skydive above New York or whatever, which is usually restricted airspace.
Yes.
And using that, they're going to land on the DEA building, hack into their systems, and get agent names that they can...
All the undercover agents.
Or-
and
or-
also people whose identity they can steal.
Yeah, identities they can steal and sell them off to the highest bidder or whatever.
Yeah, that's their plan.
That's their big plan. That's the big bad guy plan.
What did you think of their plan,
Well,
Jamie?
look, when you put it like that, I was sitting there being like, why do they need to have like a competition in the midst of this?
Yes.
But as far as movies go, that's pretty good. You gotta have a heist.
Yes.
You gotta have a competition.
Yeah. They're covering all the bases.
Yeah.
Like, again, the second half of this film was meticulously planned out
Yeah.
to make a good film. The first half was like, oh, how do we get to the start here? This is how it starts.
Yeah.
Cool, done. Don't need to think about that one. Don't worry, people will love the second half of this film. They'll forget all about the crappy first half.
Yeah, and I do love some of the heist. The plan as well is they've got to drop in. Then they've just got to get their nerd hacker guy to do his nerd hacking.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like the hacker guy, the nervous hacker guy.
Yeah.
I really feel like they just had him as hacker guy, and then the director or the producer more likely was like, no, you've got to give him something.
Yeah.
And so they just made him nervous.
If you're doing a parachute, the drop zone, you have to have a couple of people that are nervous about it.
Yeah.
And he was the coward, the one that doesn't like it,
But yeah.
Let's cut over to the good... I hate the term bad guys and good
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
It's so dumb. Let's cut over to the good guys, because this is where Wesley Snipes gets to overact like crazy when he's being taught how to skydive. I quite liked him. Just being like, I don't want to skydive. What's going on?
I don't want to. And they're like, if you want me to give you info, you have to skydive. Jump cut, his suit is up.
I think at first he's just like, I want you to tell me whether this skydiving is possible. And she's like, to tell that, you've got to go on a jump with me.
Yeah.
He's in the plane, and then she opens up the trapdoor underneath him.
Right,
And he
yes.
falls out, and then she's got to get him. And then he's like, oh, I skydived now. I'm not as afraid.
Yeah,
and then he
that one.
punches her after that as well.
Yeah.
He just straight up punches her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they land in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which honestly, Look, if someone pushes you out of a
plane,
plane
yeah,
without
no.
a parachute,
Yes.
I can see being,
Absolutely. You're gonna step up, turn around, and sucker punch them in the face.
Look, that
Absolutely. That was the most reasonable reaction throughout this entire film.
I also like how, obviously, speaking of what you're saying, they push him out of the plane and then jump after him just to show, guys, hint, later in the movie, this is possible.
Yeah. That you could push a person out of a plane without a parachute and then pick them up and save them. Wow, what a thing. I hope that comes back at the climax of the film, but possibly in a reversal of roles. Wouldn't that have been a great thing to happen near the last bit of the movie, Jacob? Wouldn't that be great?
But I think you are right with the heist thing, because as you mentioned, he's got to go to a bar and get a team together of good skydivers. And
I watched this last night, and the plot is eluding me.
I watched this a week ago, and I still
It's
can't.
a tribute to how terrible this movie is that we're having arguments about
That's what the plot
basic,
even
simple
is.
plot points.
Yikes.
Because everyone is the same.
Yeah.
Every character.
There's no characters.
And that's the main reason why I didn't like it, was because you don't like the bad guys, you don't like the good guys.
No. They're very different archetypes where you've got the main dude, he's the action hero, he's the retired cop.
Yeah.
That's his archetype, and then you've got her, she's a delinquent.
So I guess.
She doesn't
take anything from nobody.
No, but she has a parole officer, and she got in trouble.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
See, she's a delinquent. Woof.
I completely forgot. I completely forgot about that.
That is the thing of her archetype, because that matters at any point during the film.
So Wesley Snipes is like, all right, I'll pay you for not only lessons, but to get a team together to stop the bad guys.
Yes, but
And
I've got to be part of it.
Yes.
Needs to be there to see what's going on. I don't know.
What's going on, but you know who does know what's going on is Swoop, the hero of the film. He swoops in at the last second constantly throughout this movie, and his name is Swoop. But he doesn't want to talk to Wesley Snipes until Wesley Snipes proves that he can skydive.
He doesn't talk to anyone except skydivers.
Except people he has jumped with. He's been in the vicinity of them falling out of a plane and landing.
Question. We meet him on the top of a building cleaning windows. Now, how would he... Because he says that the people let him up there to clean some windows. But how would he have gotten up there to if he hadn't communicated with them? Does he have someone on the ground floor that he has skydived with that he can communicate? Does he have to bring in a translator with him that he can talk to every time he wants to do something? It's not ever explained to me how he got there.
Is Swoop the guy that fixes planes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no. The guy who fixes planes is the worst character in...
He's the young dude. No.
The bald dude.
Okay, I truly can't remember Swoop. I have no recollection of Swoop.
They meet Swoop on the building and he jumps off the building. Remember, he has the tattered shirt and stuff? No?
He gets beaten up in a bathroom at some point because he played a prank.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yes. That guy. Okay, you don't...
I'm pretty sure I thought he was the same guy as the flying vixen.
No, not at all.
I can see why you would think that because they're the same
He had a beard and mustache. See, this was beard, mustache.
Oh, man.
Okay, here, look.
Yeah,
let me get
I
you
see
this
him on Google.
images. Let's go to Google Images.
Look,
See.
it's a messy episode because the plot is unfollowable.
It's bad. It's not good.
So I forget the character's name. Jessie. She's like, oh, my boyfriend's dead. That's a shame. I'm going to go check his parachute. But the reason I bring up the scene is because Wesley Snipes follows her into the barn where she checks on the parachute. Yes. And she's like, whoa, what are you doing here? How long have you been following me? And he replies with, ever since you decided to be my friend.
Don't make friends with that fella. He's a creep.
Oh, it's ridiculous. There's another line later on as well where there's like training or something and they need some help from someone. And he's like, tell your friend that I owe him one. Thanks for helping me out. And the other person's like, no need. I told him you'd paint his house in the summer.
it's showing how close those two characters are.
Yeah.
That he would offer to do something like that.
Yes. So.
Thank you for your insightfulness. I thought that scene just sucked personally, but yes.
If I was trying to redeem this movie,
First of all, don't.
the best I could do is like, they did it. They got skydiving into an action movie.
Yep.
Like,
No, but you could do this much easier, like James Bond or whatever.
Sure.
He just jumps out of planes. You don't need a whole subplot. You don't need a whole first half of this movie to explain why they need to jump out of planes.
That's kind of what the 90s so far has been. Like, we started off with On Deadly Ground. What if action movie, but it thinking about the environment?
Yeah.
We had Speed. What if action movie, but on bus?
Hey, that was a good one though.
and what about that one, like the kayaking one?
So Swoop pranks some guy during the skydiving competition.
Yes. So Swoop's my favorite character because
like him a lot.
he's a expert skydiver who's a little bit insane.
A bit of a prankster.
So there's a scene where the bad team goes over to them and is like, "Oh, you got to do your first skydiving, huh? Good luck with that." And it's like the other guy says, "What are you, some kind of comedian? Fuck off!" And then the bad guy pulls on the parachute and launches the kid's parachute.
Yeah, I think that was.
Why are you some kind of comedian? Fuck off!
Which honestly wouldn't be such a bad insult.
It was such a good line. I wrote that was the one line in this film I wrote down because it was amazing. In retaliation against the bad team for you getting a parachute. What's his... Swoop, yes, Swoop. I forgot his name, I could not remember. Swoop swoops in and sabotages the bad guy's parachute by letting go of his first parachute into the bad guy, so he can... he gets disqualified. Gift wrapped, as they call it.
Yes.
And uses his second emergency parachute. So Swoop sabotages the bad guy, but then, in the bar later on... The bad guy comes over and beats up Swoop.
Then Wesley Snipes steps in and he kind of beats up the bad guys. And I really liked this fight scene.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you like the action scenes where he's beating up people?
Yeah, because like Wesley Snipes is good at action.
Yes.
We've seen it in Blade.
So what you're saying is, in this action film, the action that they actually put on screen was good. And the rest of the film, which you could consider not action, was bad. It's almost like in an action film, we go to the movie to see action, and the only bits we enjoy are the scenes where there's actually some action going on.
Correct.
Wow.
But, Zach, what if you want to see skydiving?
Yeah, you're right. You know what? Let's go and see more of the skydiving.
To be fair, I liked the final competition skydiving a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It looked good.
Yeah.
But also the lead up.
Look, to be fair, look, when they're skydiving, it's good. When they're fighting, it's good. It's everything else.
Yeah. It's almost like those were the 2 points of the film that they should have possibly somehow focused on more because they focus on it the whole film but somehow don't focus on it at all.
Yeah. Anyway, we're almost up. Well, no, we are up to the final act now.
Yes.
Because Earl the hacker is like, hey, that's Wesley Snipes. That's the guy who picked me up from prison. Hey, Gary Busey, we should steal Jessie.
The competition happens, but the bad guys sabotage her parachute. So that it won't work and she'll die or whatever in the competition.
But she swaps it with...
Swoop? Not Swoop, the young kid. Who's doing his first professional parachuting.
The worst character in the film.
Yeah, she's like, this is my lucky parachute. Here, you can have it. The kid's parachute fails.
Yes, and then he's saved by Swoop.
He's saved by Swoop.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Yep.
She grabs a gun.
Yes.
At that moment, I wait. Oh, wait, she gets a gun? What the frick is that?
Does she use it? Once.
Well, yes. And then, for some reason, instead of going and confronting them right there on the ground, she stores herself in the plane?
Yes.
Oh, right, yes, because they're...
Because they're going to jump out of the plane and go to the DEA place.
Yes. So then they're doing the once in a lifetime...
Yeah, the 4th of July.
The 4th of July.
Which looks incredible, all the coloured suits.
I did notice a thing, which is whenever they cut back and forth between the planes and the ground and the fireworks, you could very much tell that they were different nights. Because because the planes were flying in like dim afternoon, evening light, whereas the fireworks were being set off at like midnight. And it was very different levels of darkness.
I was looking forward to seeing how they look from the ground, and we just never got that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird that. So it's like they took these shots at very different times.
Yeah, once she's in the plane, she takes out a gun and is like, "Hey, bad guys, what are you doing?" And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna throw you out of the plane." And they throw her out, and she catches onto the handhold under the door.
Yeah, it's like the step that you step off. She like holds onto that, and so the bad guys think she's fallen out of the plane.
Yep.
But she's actually hanging on to the plane.
Hey, just like
You definitely would have been able to. No, you definitely feasibly could hold on to the bottom of the plane for how long she does.
At least 5 minutes.
Yes.
But this is where it gets cool.
Yes, this is where the action of the action film continues, and you're like, yay, action in my action film. Yes. Because action hero.
Yeah, he sees her and is like, well, if you jump and then I jump, I can catch up to you and grab you.
And they do the thing with a plane where you like wiggle the wings to sort of indicate a message.
Good to
which
see that in the
is
film.
a thing that happens in real life. I know that. So, good on your action film, you did a thing.
They did a little bit of research.
Nice.
Yes.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wiggle.
I think they did the distinct, like, drop down or whatever. They jump out and he swoops in to catch her and activates his parachute. And they land on the DEA building.
Yes.
Where the bad guys have landed earlier.
They are currently
infiltrated it.
And they're hacking away. And there's
some classic 90s hacking.
Yep.
Where they get like the fingerprints already left there, so they spray on some spray.
Which doesn't work in real life.
No, it doesn't.
I've tried it many times trying to get into government buildings.
Oh, it's worked for me.
Really?
It's worked for me, yeah, plenty of times.
Must be the tape you use.
Yeah. Well, see, they didn't use tape. They used spray. You must have been using spray like they do. That's just movie stuff. You gotta use sticky duct tape. That's the way you get
Duct
fingerprints.
tape can fix anything.
Yes, exactly.
Including espionage.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a shootout as the two teams confront each other.
Yeah.
I liked because Jesse kills the evil woman, because there's one evil woman on the other team, and the way that she manages to stop
they
her.
have like a cat fight sort of.
Yeah, and then she pushes her face into a photocopier.
Oh yes,
I thought that was pretty good.
That was great. That was a funny action where she. Yeah.
Kudos to the cinematographer for that shot.
Yeah.
Of a photocopy.
Yeah.
I think someone gets hung by a parachute as well. Like a parachute gets stuck around their neck and they just slowly hang.
I also like the security lady who was very hungry and she went and got some like leftover pizza or something.
Oh yeah.
And then the elevator stops at a random floor and she's like, oh, that's weird. She goes out and then she dies.
Yeah.
So kudos to you, lady. You freaking cucked it. Good work.
But you made a sandwich on the job.
Yeah, you made a sandwich on the job. And didn't help in any way, shape, or form. Glad you were in this movie.
Yep. She gets a lot of screen time as well.
Yeah, she got a lot of screen time.
It was a good, big, fat sandwich.
And she whispered to the fridge, after leaving it open, by the way. She left that fridge open while she was making her sandwich. You close the fridge behind you after you've gotten all your ingredients, lady. She whispers as she closes the fridge, I'll be back for you.
So I left my fridge. My dad left the fridge open in my house, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, can you just close the fridge? Because it's like better for the food and the electricity." And my dad was like, "You know, Jacob, you've become very controlling."
You know what? Maybe he has a point, Jake.
I know, I always had to
Maybe you
control
shouldn't
him.
be so demanding all the time.
The other thing that I'd asked him, the reason why it was on his mind was because I stepped on baked beans in the kitchen. And I was like, "Dad, can you clean up your baked beans from the floor?"
Now you're just being unreasonable, Jacob. He's got the baked beans on the floor for a reason. That's where he's put him. It's not his fault that you just went and stepped your big fat foot in his baked beans. Maybe you shouldn't go stepping around in his baked beans. Jacob. God, you're so controlling, Jacob. Jeez.
Oh, we've got like 3 lines of my notes left of the film.
Yep.
This is so good. So,
let's finish this awfulness up.
Gary Busey and Wesley Snipes, their guns are empty, so they point it in each other's face and they're like, "Oh no, both guns are empty."
Yeah, they pull the trigger. The good guy pulls the trigger and it clicks, and then the bad guy's like, "Ha ha!" and he pulls the trigger and it clicks, and then they just start punching each other.
Good
I also
scene.
love how the good guy shoots the guy and it clicks, and then rather than try to run away or anything,
no.
it's just like, well, I guess it's your turn.
Yeah. No, but for some reason, they're like standing there pointing the guns at each other and not instantly pulling the triggers.
Yeah,
Instead,
so true.
they have like a Mexican standoff for no reason.
We're broken. We're so done. And so at some point, Snipes grabs him, parachutes out of the building, drops him. He dies on the street. And so the hacker guy, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna run, I'm gonna escape on foot." But Swoop is like, "That is the bad guy."
Yeah.
And Swoop swoops in, catches him. Film immediately ends. What happens to Snipes? Who cares?
No one
That's
does.
the end of the movie.
Whew.
Credits are cool though. It's got
Oh
like the
yeah,
silhouettes
it's got
of
the,
people skydiving.
yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I am not against giving this a Vincent DeCeasement award.
Ooh, I don't think it's that bad because at least I enjoyed part of this film.
Honestly,
Okay,
I think Three Ninjas Kick Back was better
really,
than this, and I would watch that again.
I
over
wouldn't.
watching this.
I definitely would not. I would watch this film again
Wow.
over Three Ninjas.
All right. What do you?
Jacob, what do you think?
What's it, the Vincent DeCeasement
Worst
award?
of the worst. The only
Yeah.
films
Yeah.
that have gotten it is Intersection, which was potentially the worst film I've ever finished.
Yeah,
I would
no.
put that up there. As
Definitely the worst that I've ever finished.
And then Three Ninjas Kick Back was atrocious as well.
It was really bad.
Yeah, whatever your lowest, worst.
Yeah, no, it's
what
the
is-
Vincent
That
decision.
was
Give
Vincent
it
DeCeasement.
to, yeah.
Well,
Okay.
that's 2 Vincent DeCeasements. And by
Yeah.
the rules of Forrest Gump, which I did not give a dead dad, but you
Yeah.
two did, it gets the award.
Yeah, it is a majority. So it definitely will get the reward. And look, I'm not that attached to this movie to put my foot down and say no.
I was going to say, why are you defending this?
No.
But-
I think it's definitely an oldie.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't personally think it's a Vincent DeCeasement award, but I definitely think this is a bad film that I
Yeah.
don't want to go back and watch.
I wasn't going to give it a Vincent DeCeasement award going into the episode, but
Yes.
our synopsis we couldn't remember, and that's
Yes.
why I think it deserves
I
it.
literally saw it last night, and I could only remember the bits that I was most angry about. So it has to be a good film if I can only remember the bits that made me furious.
Yeah, and I went back to Wikipedia just to brush up on the plot. And even then, it was still unclear why the baddies were in the...
Oh man!
All right, that's our third Vincent DeCeasement award. 2 Drop Zone, but a light Vincent DeCeasement award because Zach disagrees. Just a light.
Yeah,
It's the best of the 3.
Yeah, best. Yeah, look, it's better than the other 2 Vincent DeCeasement awards, but
Yep.
worse than every other film we've watched besides those 2.
Yep.
So yes.
Now it's time to pitch a sequel. I've got the only logical step for a sequel, Zach.
Yep.
This is skydiving from what, 700,000 feet or something?
Yes.
Gotta take it to space.
Yeah. Oh right. Yeah.
Wesley Snipes goes to space for some reason. Let's say the
Okay.
government are like, you get your job back, and there's a hacker on the moon.
What? He has to skydive from the moon.
It's set in the far future of 2005, where we have colony on the moon, not
Ooh.
Mars, the moon, because we can't afford a
Ooh.
red background. It's set on the moon. It's like a dome, and
Yes.
so they've got to skydive down into the moon. And Wesley Snipes is like, "Yes, I'll get a team together," and they stop him, and it's in space. Who wants to go next?
I have one
Go for
that
it.
I can mention. It's actually a prequel.
Ooh.
Because they mention the military guys which managed to do this drop from the same height as they did. That was a plot point. And, of course, as it's well known, I have to bring the military into every
Of course.
sequel and
they're already in this
that
one,
I'm
so
doing.
you have
Yes.
to.
So, in this, it's just them doing this parachute thing. But then it goes awry because one of them's a bad dude, and the bad dude tries to sabotage it because he's secretly parachuting to, I don't know, steal a hacker man or something. I don't know. And it's possibly worse than this film.
Okay.
What's your sequel, Jacob?
So, there's a bad guy. He's a hacker. And he's in jail, right?
Yep.
And so then they get two marshals to escort him to prison. And they do it in a submarine.
Oh,
But the
Now
submarine
that's a
gets
reversal.
hijacked by scuba divers.
Oh!
And then the scuba diver's still the hacker. Now, there's a big scuba diving competition coming up in Florida. So the scuba divers,
Of course.
the only time that they can get into the, I don't know, Florida, Miami,
Yeah.
is
Diving in that
in the
restricted
competition.
area. Yeah.
And I just think it'll be a great way to mix the two things that really should have been mixed by now.
Yep.
Scuba diving
Yep.
and action.
and it's
Yeah.
called Splash Zone.
Yes! Splash Zone. Perfect.
That's the best I can do.
Oh, that's good.
That is
And then,
good. I like
but
that.
then one of the bad guys sabotages the lead lady's scuba gear.
Exactly.
But then she gives her scuba gear to the new scuba diver.
Get
It's his
this,
first time
a guy
scuba diving.
goes swimming without the scuba gear.
Whoa!
So someone has to scuba and then use their...
Yeah, they need to swap the air tanks over.
Exactly.
It's the professional one. He's called Skip. And Skip, he doesn't talk to anybody that hasn't dived with him before.
Exactly.
And he's the best diver. He likes to surface and resurface really quickly. He doesn't care about the bends.
Dangerously
Yeah,
quickly.
he's a dangerous. He's a dangerous scuba diver. You know what? What hurts the most is how well this film would do exactly doing what you were saying. It could be reverse roles and it would work exactly the same.
Yeah, I'm going to say it wouldn't be worse.
Yes.
Yikes.
Although with fake water, it could look worse, maybe.
Yes.
Okay,
But then we
how
use
about
real
this?
water.
How about this? They need to escort a prisoner to a place in a really fast car, and
They've got to escort this guy over a bridge. Right? Now, some bungee jumpers.
Oh no! I think we're done. With all
let's
of
move
this.
on to Raven reviews.
Yes. I'll keep this short because I want this to be over. So I've just got three. All right. We've got the three best ones I could find.
And Jacob and I have to try and just figure out what the score is. Best
Yes.
of three wins. All right,
Best of three.
it's on.
Best of three.
Okay. Jade says, very interesting and suspenseful.
No, it's not.
What do you think? Out of three, remember, 0.5s exist. The lowest you can rate it is a 0.5. The highest is a 5.
Okay, three.
Okay.
I would think that she's taking the piss, but because I don't think she actually is, I'm giving it a 4.
You're giving it a 4. Oh, Sandra wins this one with an exact 3
Hey.
out of this one. An
Hey,
exact 3. So that's one for Sandra. One
Cool.
for Sandra. Then we have Bill. Most of this cheese splats all over the floor.
That's good. I like that a lot.
Bill, what did he rate it?
I'm gonna go low. 1.5 from me.
Okay,
I
a
got
1.
below 1.
You're going low. Well, Sandra is the closest, but neither of you get it with a 2 out of 5.
Well, that's not
2 out of 5.
And it was the cheese drops on the floor, and he gave it a 2.
2 out of 5. Yeah. He thought it was a bit. He likes the cheese. The cheese kind of splattered on the floor. And He
Yeah.
still likes it. He didn't step in it like you. He didn't step in it like you and those beans.
Yeah. I gave those beans a 1.
Yeah. And then we have JM. JM says quotation marks.
Yep.
Gary Busey did a good job. Quotation mark.
Ah.
Now they've got this in quotation marks.
Is it
which I haven't seen
sarcastic
before.
or is it?
I don't know. It's up to interpretation.
Is it a quote from a?
Gary Busey did a good job. It's around the whole thing.
Okay, yeah.
Gary Busey did a good job.
I give it 3.5.
3.5?
I'm gonna stick with 1.5 on this.
1.5. Oh, you're exactly split in the middle. It's 2.5.
Oh,
2.5
right
is what
down
you
there.
give it. So I have to go to the tiebreaker, which was the previous one, which means Sandra was the closest.
Sure.
Which means Sandra is the winner.
Hey.
Congratulations. First time
I've
for
been
a-
good
If
recently.
I was able to find more reviews or even cared a little bit about this film, you probably would have got this one, Jacob. But
Oh well.
It's okay.
done with this film. Done with this episode. We're done.
That's the episode. If you like the show, thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this week's one.
Don't see this film.
Don't watch it. Just don't. If you want to get in contact with us, it's pretty easy. We got a Facebook page that you can message. We've got an email address. We've got personal Instagrams. You can do all of that. Links in the description. Again, if you want to get one of your years chosen as what we cover next year. Again, 1974, 1984, 95, 98. You can vote on our Survey Monkey. It'll be open until probably episode 51, until that comes out, so in 2 weeks. And that's pretty much all of that. Links all in the description. Do you have a show
That's
coming
a good
out?
question. Yeah, come
This
see
is
Will
coming
It
out.
Juice. Come see Will It Juice and Friends. It's a monthly show, so December 7th.
If you're in Melbourne tomorrow, yeah, go see Will It Juice and Friends at the
Wait,
Improv
this isn't
Conspiracy.
live?
What time is Will It Juice and Friends on Saturday?
9:30 p.m.
9:30.
Nice.
Show up. I went last month. It was very fun.
Nice.
It's
And
very,
it's
very
$6. And
Yeah,
if
cheap.
you don't want to pay that or you can't afford it, let me know. And
Yeah.
it's free for you.
Send a message. Send Will It Juice a message on Instagram. I'll link them in the episode. That's some improv for you. Okay, so next week you're gonna stick around, Jacob, for next week's episode. Zach, what if we let Jacob choose next week?
You can pick this one. I don't mind. We'll go with what you pick.
I mean, he's sticking around, so
Yeah,
it's fine.
it's fine.
You've got Speechless, Jacob. Out of your 4 options, first one, Speechless. Michael Keaton and Gina Davis, they fall in love. That's the movie.
Immortal Beloved. Gary Oldman is Beethoven.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah, Gary
That's
Oldman.
good.
I do like... Gary Oldman was great in... what's it called?
Leon.
Leon.
Yeah, he was so good in that.
Yeah. He was really good. That was hilarious.
You've got Legend of the Fall. It's an epic historical film about World War One. Brad Pitt's in it, so is Anthony Hopkins. And we haven't done an Anthony Hopkins film this year. He's been in heaps in 94, but we just haven't chosen any.
Yes.
So, there you go.
And finally, we have Dumb and Dumber.
Look, I would say
Yes.
in deciding of these movies, something that I really like about this podcast
Yes.
is exploring the way that movies age and sometimes ferment, sometimes mature with the
Sometimes rot.
with the times. Yes, and I think Dumb and Dumber, it will be interesting to see how it
Yeah,
holds
that
up
is
in
true.
2019.
That is true. Whether it is become a
Ooh.
fine wine or a
know.
rotten vinegar.
I mean, you're right. Like, Ace Ventura, it's the first 2 acts aged well. The final act, maybe not so much. The Mask, you thought it aged well, Zach. I didn't.
Not like this has gotten better over time, but this is the same wine I drank 10 years ago that I am drinking today, and it tastes just the same, and it is just as good.
That's a win. That's a win.
Yeah, which is a definite win in my book.
So on that note, I think I'd like to see Dumb and Dumber.
Let's do
You
Dumb
know
and
what?
Dumber.
I agree.
Oh, it's episode 50 as well.
Hey,
Makes sense, because we've been doing every Jim Carrey film, so...
Yeah, that is true. We
Cool.
Ace Ventura,
The Mask.
The Mask,
And
and
then
now
this
Dumb and Dumber.
Let's wrap up with our favourite quote from Drop Zone. I don't have any.
I have one.
I wrote down one, I think.
All right, you wrote down one. You get yours up. Sandro, find one.
I'll do How Long Have You Been Following Me? Ever since you decided to be my friend. Just because of the creepy connotations that come with that.
Okay, the one
on,
I wrote
Jacob.
down was from the first scene before I realised what I was in for when they were getting onto the plane. This is going to be great.
Bum bum bum. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Or maybe I would say, what's called my favourite line, but it was a visual line, was the photocopier face.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That is
As a visual quote
Yeah.
for the ages.
Yeah.
My ones is, what are you, a comedian? Fuck off!
Which
I
is
want.
good.
It's a good line. I want to use it in real life. I'm most definitely using that.
If you ever see Zach at a comedy show and he just heckles with that, you know where it came from.
No, I really want to use it in my day-to-day life where, because I know comedians, so it's funny if they harassing me, I just say, whatever, comedian.
That's so good.